start to look for fights here and continue to level up, but most importantly to acquire dinars, the money, just like real life people infatuated with money. And so that's what we're going to do here. Now I better give you an update in case this is, a whole episode later probably. We last made a big foray into Khazate territory. Frankly, we were absolutely overrunning them. And I decided, hey, let's head in the southern empire direction. We're actually heading west. Over here in the far west, we have sort of a stalemate versus Valandia. There's a couple of castle sieges here and there, but there's more or less peace compared to over here. So in the rest of the map here, I have two cities, Danustica and Vostrum, and two castles, Lavinia and Morania. Morania Castle will be a defendable castle. Lavinia Castle will not, right? So I've put a larger garrison there at Morania. We could probably handle almost 1,000. But this episode is going to be about money. I need to acquire money. We are running a small deficit. And we are seeking money through war. So we're going to head west here. It seems weird. The map's like, it's almost like it's upside down for me. Of course, we're going to be recruiting troops the whole way. We're going to be raiding villages. We're going to be acquiring as much food as possible. And war is coming to us here. This is Rhagaea. We've already defeated her once, and she has a much larger army this time heading to Vostrum. I don't think so. We fight. Now this obviously is a battle we can lose. We're outnumbered, 2.5 to 1 here, not quite 3 to 1. And we don't have a maxed out army by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I keep forgetting that I'm not Zuvan. I have this level 24 character who's not going to be able to kill half the enemy by himself. Nevertheless, fuck it. This is a practice run. Even if this was the real campaign, we might take on battles like this against huge Empress-led Southern Empire forces. Fuck them. We're here for belligerence, right? We're not here for peace. So we've got a nice ridge here, and I've got a tremendous little water valley here to play with tactically. This is almost a tactician's wet dream here. Now I'm missing some companions. I think they're on quests. This guy's brand new, but he has a nice banner. This guy, he has no banner. So it's not the most optimal setup. In fact, I may have stubbed my toe here into another defeat, but I've got a nasty 3rd division full of shock troops. We're definitely going to be able to use the shield and shock approach with those guys. Of course, we will try to surround and destroy the enemy through flanks. We've got this crossbow division to apply pressure right away, and we're going to use this water to slow the enemy down. Now, I want the first corps, of course, to be the bait. He's got a nice banner that decreases the amount of damage they take in melee, so those guys will undoubtedly be squaring at some point. We're going to dump huge loads of javelins into our enemies, right? That's what you do as the Aserai. You pound them and soften them up at range. Unfortunately, the Imperials, their tier 4 and tier 5 infantry do not get throwing weapons. It's kind of odd. Maybe that's because they're so strong besides the throwing weapons. They just decided if they had javelins, they would probably be, the legionary would be too powerful. I know RBM changes that. I can already picture the comments from you fellas. I don't know if I'm going to do RBM at all in this practice campaign, but I definitely will do it in the campaign later this year, 100%. Now, not for the whole, definitely not for the whole campaign. I'll probably do it for, 1 episode out of every 6 or something like that, just so that you guys get a feel of how RBM affects the game. And you guys can sort of make your own decision. The reason I'm doing that, of course, is that a lot of people can't use RBM. So I don't want to wave it in front of them and say, look how awesome this is. By the way, you can't use it. So we're outnumbered here. They have 70% of the forces on the field. This is going to be a bitch. Let's see, though. We've got a good amount of high-end troops. More than likely, their army has a mix of high-end troops, middle-tier troops, and then recruits, right? That's how the AI builds their armies. They do quantity instead of quality, and hopefully we can pick it apart here. They've got a lot of archers and crossbow. That's a problem. A little cavalry clash here. Look how weak my companions are. Thalea the Black gets insta-killed. That's not something I'm used to from my other campaigns. My other campaigns, some commander would have just killed 3 Imperial forces and still be racking up kills. Here, of course, we are mortal. We are quite weak. My little weak sword here is not doing much, except to the guys turn the wrong direction. So we'll take advantage of that. The javelins are starting to rain in. Of course, they're finding a lot of shields, right? So we've got to flank. We've got to have a good game plan here. Otherwise, we're going to get simply run down. So the square I said square, it is going to be a square of crossbow there is on the left. On the right there, I'm moving the 2nd and 3rd divisions. That's the shielded shock division. Shield is a heavy cav division. They're not going to be attacking much until the envelopment process. And you're asking, well, how do I know there's going to be an envelopment process? Because I always envelop the enemy, right? That's part of our plan. They have a huge infantry vanguard. I can see it coming across. The cavalry is kind of sparring here with their crossbow. I'm not going to square them for such a small force, but I can pull them over this ridge here, right? So we can back the 4th and the 5th up. There's kind of some cavalry attacking us from behind, but they're also under onslaught from our archers. All right, so the vanguard, just like we hoped, is wading through the water. So 2nd and 3rd division to our right flank. I'll try to tell you all this. It's hard sometimes. I got to speak very quickly. This is the 6th skirmishers. That's also over here on our left, on our right flank. The 5th archers are in front of me now. The 4th crossbow I just pulled to the other side of this ridge. Actually, here. Now they're on the other side of this ridge. They got horse archers shooting us here, so we can assign our horse archers to intercept and deal with them. The 1st corps is near the enemy, and that's purposeful. I want them to get a little taste, get a little whiff, like a good stripper. We're teasing them here. We're letting them know, hey, you get a little closer, you might get lucky, you might get some action. And the action they're going to get is enveloped, right? They're going to get enveloped by this, the 2nd corps, and the 3rd corps behind them. The reason I'm protecting those guys, of course, is they have no shields. Those shock troops, palace guards, they don't need to take a javelin in the face. So crossbow and archers here are both kited back. The enemy vanguard is just getting to the shore, so it's time to start. Oh shit. It's time to start. There we go. Forming the 1st into a square. I'm hoping the enemy just surrounds it like fanboys at a fucking Taylor Swift concert or whatever the fuck. Choose your famous person. The 5th archers are raking, but they're finding a lot of shields, right? They're definitely not racking up the kills. We're going to suck the enemy in here just a little further because I see their archers are starting to climb up on the other side there and shoot at us. We're going to pull back a little bit more safely here. We will deal with their archers in a moment. Now it's time to envelop these fucks. The 2nd and 3rd and 6th are over there just waiting for us to come in. We're coming in on the enemy's right flank here, and we're just going to drive in on them. Those are our crossbow. These guys can be told to charge as well. That way, that's another force attacking from that flank. Just like I hoped, they're swarming the square. Here comes the 3rd corps, all these savage two-handed motherfuckers. Hold fire so they don't throw their little pathetic axe. Look at the death spam. It is just an absolute creaming. Now, they're losing weak troops, right? Infantrymen, but we're also outnumbered almost 3-1 here. This would be hard without tactics. And it's still going to be a bloody fight, right? They're bringing up more troops to fight our 3rd corps. Our crossbow are actually pouring in because they're mostly out of bolts already. But that's beneficial too, right? Those guys can definitely swing a mace. Probably kill some of our own troops here. Oh shit, sorry dude, spoke too soon. Let's put this cav division here in a wall to eat some of these arrows, right? They can put up their shields and give us a little bit of time here to finish off the enemy. Actually, I guess we don't need it. Man, that was a quick extermination. Even by our standards, that was quick. And the enemy archers are pulling back. We charge, right? Time to run down some bitches. The momentum is on our side. We'll move archers up here to get some shots off before they flee. Cavalry charge with me. Infantry moving up to protect archers. And let's run down some of these archers here. I don't know if they're going to rout. They might have reinforcements coming. They probably have reinforcements coming. But that was absolutely incredibly destructive. Yeah, they do have reinforcements coming. Looks like another 200 or 300. You can hear their incompetent general yelling commands like he has Tourette's. I apologize if you know somebody who has Tourette's. I'm not making fun of people with handicaps. It's just a funny thing. They like bark out swear words and shit. That's sometimes how the AI sounds. They're like, kill them all, flank, hold the line, kill them all, move, kill them all. Meanwhile, they're being killed. I just find it funny. And of course, my absolute favorite thing in all of Bannerlord, besides looters smashing Imperial forces, is when commanders and stuff like that yell commands right before they take a headshot, right before they get killed. They're like, and kill them all. They get fucking destroyed by a bolt to the face or something. I just absolutely love that effect where their message is cut off because they just met death. I think that's hilarious. But I've always had a dark sense of humor here. All right, so we're going to hold fire and wait for this pathetic force to come up. Because of our positioning here, they are forced to go through the water. It does not matter where they go, we will make them go through the water, right? Because we'll simply cross the water if they start coming around that edge there. This is a situation where the advantage is us because they attacked us. If this was a real person, we would still force them to come through the water because they attacked us. If you don't know how the system works, well, actually, I'm sure you guys know how the system works, but I'll say it anyways. If the enemy attacks you, they must be the aggressor. They cannot just sit back and fire arrows at you, although they may choose to do that at the beginning. If you move back in that situation, they cannot move back, right? They will try to engage you. If they're not shooting at you, they will move up to try to shoot at you. In other words, in this situation, we hold all the cards here. The enemy has to come to us. Look at this guy stuck here. Have a javelin. We got a beautiful sunset here for this final enveloping process. I have 3 infantry divisions that are mostly intact because it was so destructive. We're going to harass this archers a little bit here, and now it's going to be time to charge with these infantry divisions. We're going to bring in the 1st, what is that, the 1st, 6th, and 3rd division while we drive our cavalry in on the enemy from behind. The archers can be told to charge at this stage. Any archers that are out of ammo, we might as well have their swords in the battle. Look at how deep the water is right there. I almost fucking went all the way under. We're out of javelins now. We'll swing our fist at them in defiance. We're going to flank, though. We're not just going to come in here mindlessly. Of course, our archers are still scoring kills. The enemy's in the water being shot, right? It's a very bad day. They're all experiencing the same thing that Isildur experienced when his ring fell off in The Lord of the Rings, right? They're in the water, and they're being shot to pieces by arrows. Now we envelop them from behind with our cavalry, trudging through this deep water. We want to get to their archers here because I want to limit losses, of course. We're always trying to fight as efficiently as possible. Our infantry divisions are now boring in on mostly recruits and weak archers, and this is going to be very quick and savage. Obviously, even more savage than that first battle, right? It's just a spray of green. I like to say it just goes... It's just fizzing to the bottom of the screen. 9 out of 10 kills is them getting... them dying and our guys scoring kills. And Empress Rhagaea here and her Imperials are sent fleeing back to their hovels. A few of them minus a head. Well, this mullet motherfucker here will run him down. And victory is ours. And we get a beautiful sunset. I'm a sunset fan. I don't know, some guys think sunsets are stupid. I worry about those guys. They might be like serial killers or something. If you don't enjoy beauty in life, you know, I'm a little concerned about your soul. But sunsets in Bannerlord with the time pass mod, that's part of the reason this looks like this, is fantastic, right? It's not quite real life, of course, but it is beautiful. And of course, a victory over a force almost 3 times our size early in our campaign here without elite companions. That too is beautiful. So we will enjoy this sunset here. Our guys are thrilled. These palace guards look like most of them don't even have blood on them. Maybe just their axe has blood. And we will enjoy this fucking sunset. 112 casualties here. 2/3 of our force survived. Of course, we're leveling up at an incredible rate. Our skills look just like the death spam too, where it's just fizzing. It's just you gained a level, you gained a level, you gained a level, you gained some skills. And we celebrate victory here. All right, so I'm probably going to start this battle here. This will probably be the start of an episode. This might even be one of the last episodes, because what we're going to do in this episode, I'm not going to show you every battle, of course, but we're going to acquire money, right? We're going to run around the map. She looks a lot less beautiful and certain than she did at the beginning of the battle. We'll take some prisoners here, since undoubtedly these guys are eager to join our forces after that battle. They would probably... in real life, all of these forces would be like, yep, we'll fight for you. We'll fight. We saw what happened there. We saw what our general did and what you did. We'll fight for you. Look at, I don't know if I didn't get hit or if I just healed, but I was going to say Zuvan. Yuha is 100% health, and that's with, you know, mediocre armor. Wow, look at this loot. We got some really nice loot here. This is probably all Rhagea's loot, right? Rhagaea. Thanks for the loot. We will take all this and put it on future companions. But this episode, we are going to acquire money, right? We are going to kill people, take their loot. We might try to take Poros. We'll see. We might need some help for that. Call a noble or two. But we need money because I'm hoping, well, not hoping, by the end of this episode, we will be declaring our independence. from the Aserai, right? We will be saying, nah, you guys are dumb. We have, 2-3 cities and 2-3 castles. Come get some, right? In our best Duke Nukem voice, we are going to give our middle finger with both hands to all of Calradia and say, we are independent. Come get some, right? We're basically looking for battle. We're looking for expansion. We're going to do some quests here so that we raise relation with villages because, of course, we want these villagers to give us all of their high-end troops every time we ask. I will cover little details like that. You can see where some of our companions are out doing quests. That's one of the best ways to do it, right? Because then you can continue to fight. Yeah, so you fellas are familiar with the proverb, strike when the iron is hot, right? This saying, of course, is used frequently in the English lexicon. And what does it really mean, right? It means basically acting when the opportunity is ripe, right? When the moment is correct. And in this practice campaign, that moment is now. We have been devouring the southeast portion of the map here. This Aserai force, led by the Sultan, and I are closing in on a Northern Empire force, but I have very devious intentions here. Now, we've been carving out this corner in the southeast. We've taken Danustica and Vostrum, etc., but our weak bitch Sultan declared peace on the Southern Empire, despite the fact that we obviously have the advantage and we're paying a tribute. Our Sultan refused to declare war, in fact, gave them peace, and when I've asked them for war, everybody, all these bitch-ass Aserai want peace. So, what do you do about that, right? Well, as we all know, the AI, in my opinion, stands for artificial imbecility, but role-playing a little bit here, we will just say we have obstinate clan members, obstinate kingdom leaders, and the Sultan, etc., and our kingdom has gotten to the point, or at least our little clan has gotten to the point where it's time to leave this kingdom. Now, our financial situation is not terrific. We're running a deficit, but we do have a lot of loot, and we have 3 pretty good cities. We have 1 tier 3 city, or a third 3-walled city that's making a little bit of money, 2 other cities, and 2 castles. I think this is normally really early for most people for declaring a kingdom. I'm not recommending this for you because, of course, once you declare yourself a kingdom, not only will the sultans attack, but so will potentially all the other kingdoms. Seeing you as weak, they will attack. Now, I helped him take Poros, I helped him take Onika, and by myself, I took Lycaron, and these fucks gave me no credit. In fact, Shanopus' castle, we were instrumental as well. They would not give us any of those castles or cities, so we're going to take advantage of it. Here we come, Sultan. Let's get this Northern Empire force. No. Actually, you know what? You guys have a great time with that battle. We've got other intentions. They are now trapped by that Northern Empire force. I should have mentioned this. They're still at war with the Valandians, and the Valandians are besieging them on the other side of the map. So one of their armies actually ran over there, or was heading in that direction, I think, before it lost cohesion. For some reason or other, they're at war with Sturgia. They're just acting dumb, and I've had enough. So what are we going to do here? Well, first, we're going to leave the Sultan to his fate there, right? We're just basically going to leave and going to let him get captured, and we're going to leave these buffer towns between our enemies and our new kingdom. So have a good time, Mr. Sultan. I wish you the best of luck. I mean, he's almost certainly going to get captured and his force will be destroyed. The other force is heading west and won't be able to help, or they'll be destroyed by Valandians. There he goes as we head off into the sunset. And now it's time for our devious plans here, right? So we're going to start with Husn Fulq. Once we get back, we're going to declare independence, and we're going to start to expand this inner kingdom, essentially cutting the Aserai kingdom in half. We're going to let their enemies continue to attack them, these buffer cities, so to speak, and hopefully they leave us alone. Meanwhile, we're going to go for Razih, we're going to go for Husn Fulq, and we're going to start to expand our kingdom. The Sultan is captured. All of those troops are captured. So we lured him into that battle, in an outnumbered battle against the Northern Empire, and we basically betrayed them there, right? That is I guess we'll call that a final compensation payment for their insolence at having an idiot sultan remain in charge and give cities to dipshit clan leaders who don't know how to defend them. We will form the real sultanate here. Now we're heading to Danustica because that's where we're going to declare our intent, right? You have to actually talk to your governor. You have to disband your party, talk to the governor, leave the kingdom, and then declare your own kingdom. So these are all the steps that, of course, most of you guys have taken before. This is the process, effectively, of becoming our own kingdom and effectively betraying the Aserai, telling them, you know what, go fuck yourself. And this is a nice little last bit of scouting I like to do. Look at this. This shows where all their forces are. I don't know if the developers intended this, but all of these forces are 4 days away. What does that mean? That means that once we start our rebellion here, I now have incredible intel where the enemy's troops are. All of their troops are 2 to 5 days away, which means now is the time. We are going to strike while the iron is hot. We are going to talk to our governor here, and it's time to make this rebellion kingdom. Let's see, we'll come up with some kind of corny name here. No, I want to name it. Let's see. Let's do this. That seems appropriate. Of course, you got to enjoy these kind of moments during your campaign. All this toil, all this fucking following dipshit leaders has led us to this. And now it's our turn, right? Now it's our turn to show them how to use logistics, how to use battlefield campaigns, how to use strategy, how to use forethought to dominate Calradia. So here's the first thing we're going to do. I think our troop capacity will expand. We are going to load up on some of these troops that we've been stockpiling at our new capital here, Danustica. I will enjoy a sunset and get laid tonight by my wife because she's aware that we're about to engage on the rampage, warpath. We're going to load up on food. All of this food that we've been putting in the stockpile here, lumbering around, carrying all this food, we are now going to use that, take that food down to Husn Fulq, and we're going to add more troops here. We're going to add another companion and load them up with troops because, of course, we need to stack the garrison there. When you first start a campaign, your armies are small. Until you start to designate nobles and give them territory, you got 400, maybe 500 men in your army. Well, we're going to maximize our force here. So I'm using this guy as a carrier. I may even disband him afterwards. But what we're doing this for is so that we have the maximum amount of forces here for the siege. And we're doing that also so that as soon as the siege is successful, which I think it will be, we can then defend the city, right? Husn Fulq is a tier 3 city. So we will put somewhere between 100 and 150 troops there. From that point, of course, it's just rapid expansion. We are going to recruit as many troops as possible and rampage as far and as fast as we can before the assaults come. And they will be coming, right? It might even happen before we take Husn Fulq. The Aserai, of course, are scrambling to get their forces back together. These knuckleheads are chasing a guy here, but they'll catch up, I think. I'm heading straight there, and we're going to siege this tier 3 city. Now, this is going to be difficult. You know, it's got 500 defenders. I thought about trying to starve it out, but that would just take too long. I did take all their food, before I left on this attempt to essentially assassinate the Sultanate, but I don't think we'll be able to bleed the food out of this city. Not to mention, we don't really want to do that if we're going to take this over as our city. You don't want to destroy cities that you're going to be owning soon, right? This is like peeing in your future home. We'll pick up some food here from this village. If I was short of troops, of course, we could tell this village, give us troops. But we don't need to do that, right? We're going to have over 500 troops for the siege. Now, there's no Aserai response yet, right? And that was because of our pre-planning, right? We struck when the iron was hot. We let the Sultan, Unquid, get captured by the Northern Empire. We betrayed him. and the other Aserai force was heading all the way to the other side of the map. It was about 400 troops. I think they disbanded eventually, lost cohesion, but I know those troops are now a long ways away and are unlikely to respond here before we take this city. Of course, at some point or other, we're going to have to fight large Aserai forces, but we want to have a head of steam, right? We want to have multiple cities, multiple castles. We're getting quests completed. Of course, I've been sending companions on quests, and we have lots and lots of troops now. In fact, we're going to be hemorrhaging troops here. There's only so much I can do about this, right? Like, all our companions are pretty much maxed on troops. I think we'll just accept the fact that there's going to be some deserters in this situation and just basically consider it not a big deal. In the end, it'll be beneficial for us that all those troops responded, or rather came back from quests. See, we're getting deserters, because that'll be more troops for us in this initial stage of the rebellion. That's effectively what it is, right? We were part of the Sultanate, and less than 2 months after we swore fealty to him, of course, I joked about it at the time. I was like, yeah, right, well, we'll be loyal for a couple months. Now, and I think we have good justification to it, right? He's been a dipshit. We've basically been the guiding force for the expansion. Almost all of the cities and castles that he took in Khazate and Aserai territory, we helped. All right. So they're starting to show up, but that's a tiny army and of just no consequence to us. Not to mention, they're too late, right? They're going to watch us take their city here. I'm probably not going to be micromanaging too much in these castle sieges. Now, I wasn't able to destroy their fire catapult, so our siege tower is probably not going to make it. That's okay. We're going to rush this side of the citadel, and I think with the strong troops that we probably have 150 tier 5 units. We should be able to punch a hole. Now, of course, I'm a very weak character. I'm level 20-something, so I can't just go up there. I would just climb the ladders here, butcher my way through, pull troops up there, throw javelins through guys' spears, but obviously I don't have that ability, so I've got to play a little bit more defensive. I've got 3 ranged units, including 2 skirmisher divisions. We're going to charge with infantry as soon as we can over here and basically blitz this city. They have as many defenders as us, you can see, or as many troops as us. You can see the power bar favors them just slightly, or maybe, I don't know, I guess it's about even, but I don't think that's going to matter. You can see these troops we've been stockpiling, right? We've got palace guards and cataphracts, elite imperial cataphracts. These fucking guys, I might have to kill some of these guys. The AI does a lousy job when the ladders are separated like this, and very frequently they will make the Sultan pick up the ladder themselves. So I think that'll work. I've got these guys charging now, and I think they will start climbing these ladders. I'm not going to go up for quite a while, right? Like, I'm going to lead like a real general. We're going to go up to celebrate at the end. And of course, that's somewhat facetious, but I assure you, Alexander the Great was not the first guy up the ladder in all the cities that they sieged, right? Otherwise, he would have died. That first guy up always dies, right? We'll write them a nice epitaph, and we'll give his wife the best house in the city. So again, continuing to lean on this right side. It's a beautiful morning. In fact, the Aserai landscapes are probably some of the most beautiful. Get this fucking ladder up. We have to start killing our own troops here. That guy squawked like a chicken when I threw a javelin into his brain. Maybe that'll give these guys... I'm going to point right at this ladder and see if that helps them use it. Use this fucking ladder. Okay, that seemed to work. That usually doesn't work, but at least these guys are paying attention. Maybe they see the carcass on the ground there of the last disobedient troop, and now they're going to actually start doing what they're told. Our catapult's still working here, or rather our trebuchet, right? I think it's French, right? The trebuchet. Trebuchet. I've heard people pronounce it. I'm almost certain it's trebuchet. Of course, some English speakers, we have, I don't know if it's just a collective ignorance, but we don't like to speak foreign languages. It's kind of aggravating because, of course, English people, a lot of them are like, speak English, you fucking dipshit. to immigrants that come to this country, and then when they go to France, they're like, "Oh, it's a nice trebuchet you have here," and they're like, "No, no, monsieur, it's a trebuchet," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, trebuchet. I'll call it what I want." Just this arrogant attitude. We will call it what I believe is correct, the trebuchet. We got these defenders sitting up here. Fuck you guys. You're gonna be joining our city here once we fucking mow you guys down. Don't worry, I won't go on my political soapbox every episode, just every other episode. I just think it's disrespectful. I think when you go to another country as a tourist, as a visitor, you should at least make some attempt to blend in, to respect their culture. So I'm speeding this up a bit. I am going to do this periodically during this campaign, both this practice run and the actual campaign, for both of our benefits. You don't need to see me watch a guy's asshole for 20 minutes as I climb the ladder, and also when there's battles that are obviously lopsided, I will speed things up as well. I'm not going to speed this up because clearly the enemy is putting up a fight here. They've got troops down here in the courtyard, so we're going to occupy the courtyard. Let's get the 6th, and what do we have, the second archers. We can position these guys in the courtyard because we're going to present a multi-front attack to the enemies that are inside. We're not just going to, go one way. I'll sit back here and just fire some javelins. But I won't speed up battles that are either close or significant, right? Like this is a very significant siege in this practice campaign, and so obviously I'm not going to speed it up. Of course, I can get killed in real time. I might overuse it. You guys can be the moderators for this, right? As I do this campaign, as I do this practice campaign, although this probably will be the last episode. Look at this, I got some fireballs here. Let's carry this grenade around. This probably will be the last episode in this practice campaign, right? I'm obviously not going to do 20 hours on a practice campaign because the whole footage of the actual campaign might only be 30 or 40 hours. Guys are pushing in on both different angles towards the gate, and at this stage, this city, you and I know, is already taken. It's kind of a formality, but we'll still at times run this normal speed, right? I don't want to have it go too fast. I'm trying to basically craft a nice balance here. The enemy must have a bunch of troops rallied on the other side of the wall, but our men are shoving their way through here as I carry this grenade. Now you're asking, where did I get all these high-level troops? I've been stockpiling them. It's part of the reason that we've been losing money. I've been piling these guys up, especially at Danustica, because if there's any chance that that place was sieged, right, I wanted it to hold out. I always like to have at least one, maybe two sort of capitals, and what I mean by that is places that I know are going to be very difficult for the enemy. Let's throw this shit in here. There's a bunch of guys standing there and blow them all up. We can throw some more javelins here. Whoops, you walked right in front there, dude. You got to watch out, dude. The Sultan is just as wild as the Jarl and will kill his own troops. But that's not too bad, right? Like, we'll rule with a little bit of fear here. It's a video game. If I was a real ruler in real life, I would not rule with fear. But for video games, it's definitely more fun to rule like you're a gangster fucking soprano or the Godfather, right? We're gonna run rule like Al Pacino, right, in The Godfather. We're gonna definitely kill people, even if it's our own brother. We're gonna be ruthless. These fucking asshole militia. It'd be funny if they killed me here. We might have some of these guys flayed for attacking their future sultan. I will talk about history extensively during the campaign. There's going to be lots of moments that are sort of slow or obvious what's going on here. Like at this stage of this city take, right? It's obviously over. I will talk about cool little anecdotal historical things, like the origin of the croissant, right? It's kind of a cool thing. Croissant. Some people in America might call them a crescent. Give me a crescent. Croissant. Basically the breakfast pastry that's sort of shaped like a sideways moon. I can talk about some pretty cool anecdotal stuff from history. Some of it's funny, Some of it's just really interesting, like the origin of the croissant. So if you guys remind me, if I don't tell that story, I'll probably remember. I'll tell other stories. I'll tell about how potatoes, when they landed in Europe, were not real popular at first, and what they did to popularize them. I will do a bunch of different things in the campaign, right? We're going to mix in history. I love history, and of course, this is like one of the perfect venues for it, because this game is sort of simulated that you're around the year 1100. My area of what I would consider my expertise is actually like 16 to 1800, maybe 1815, right? I sort of trail off my knowledge after the Napoleonic Wars. But I know a great deal about everything from Charles V and the Holy Roman / Spanish Empire, all the way to Napoleon, the events that led up to it, Mr. Voltaire, stuff like that, right? So we will delve into history. We will do a little bit of killing. We will do a little fucking swearing. I still have guys once in a while saying, hey, look at this guy. There's one guy left and our troops can't find him. I got to do it all, fellas. Just let me do it. I guess that's why I'm the Sultan. So beautiful morning here for victory as we celebrate our new kingdom. We add another city to the mix here. And it's a pretty successful siege, right? 166 casualties against a very large defending force. We'll take it. Now, we will take one of each prisoner, of course, because we want as many recruits, potential prisoners to join our army as possible. We're definitely going to gather up troops here. We get a bunch of nice loot. I will probably be equipping our companions and selling loot, sort of when you're not looking, right? I'm not going to waste your time selling a bunch of odds and ends, but we're going to make an enormous amount of money with loot, just because, of course, we're winning so many battles. Now, we're going to recruit all these troops. And this Aserai force out there, they're dead men. They just don't know it yet. I have a heat-seeking missile. It's actually my wife, and I will show you that in a second. Just loading the town up on grain, like I said. I actually emptied the town of grain before this attack in case I felt like I needed to starve them out. Of course, we're going to do bread and circuses, but the loyalty's 100 right now in this city. And during the campaign, I will talk about city management much more extensively. Like many little sort of the micro elements of the game, I will happily refer you to Strat Gaming Guides. Dude just knows Bannerlord really well. He makes really good guides for that kind of stuff. And even though obviously I'm aware and knowledgeable on a lot of this stuff, he knows more. That's all there is to it, right? So you can go to his channel if you want super in-depth detail on stuff. And I will, of course, give you sort of the shorthanded, the cliff notes for a lot of different things. Again, I brought a lot of these extra troops because we're loading up our garrison. Something that's not covered very often out there in Bannerlord is campaign strategy, and I am a strategist first. Strategy is actually my preference over tactics, and you guys know I love tactics. So here's the strategy, right? We are going to track down this Aserai force. They're smaller than us, so they'll be faster than us, but they're not going to be faster than my wife. She's going to be leading what I call my Sikkim or killer unit, and this unit is comprised mostly of cavalry. She's lightly encumbered. Obviously, they don't have a bunch of equipment and stuff like that. That means that with this army of cavalry, anytime we're near a force that we want to track down, we will simply unleash this very friendly, nice-looking wife of mine, and everybody that she catches is destroyed, right? We're just we're toying with this Aserai force because as soon as, again, to use the same proverb, the iron is now hot, let's go ahead and strike. Anidha is released on this Aserai force. They made a mistake there, too. They like half engaged her. That's definitely going to let her catch them. Now that they've caught him, we come in for the kill here. I actually think they want to fight, which is insane, of course, because the power bar favors us. So we'll butcher this Aserai force here, and maybe we'll wrap it up. We'll see. I might attach a couple more battles. Again, of course, I'm not going to play the whole campaign out in just this practice run. I'm just sort of regaining my bearings and trying to remember how to do some of this early stage stuff. I've been watching a couple other channels, guys who are doing, what do you call them, let's play campaigns, just to sort of remember some of these steps. Sort of to refine my craft, right? I'm sort of gathering all the things I've learned, and hopefully I can show you guys a handful of things that benefit. Oh shit, I just finger fucked. I froze it with apologies, the RTS mod there. Little mistakes like that are going to happen. If you didn't see it, I had a battle crash last episode. I have it crashes very rarely, but of course these things will happen, especially when I live stream. All right, this Aserai force does look like they're just barreling straight towards us, which is incredible. This is the closest thing you can do to putting your head on a table saw. They are absolutely committing suicide, and not only that, of course, they're going to run in the valley for us to allow us the high ground. Right? This is Anakin times 250. Don't do this. Oops, sorry, all my cavalry's fucking bottling me up. Sometimes that happens. You tell your guys to follow you, and these guys will crowd around you like zombies and make it so you can't move. So I'll tell you just the tactics here is pretty basic. We're going to put archery tranches way up on the side of this hill so they can fire down on the enemy. Does more damage. They shoot over their shields. They shoot into their delicate troops. Then we're going to put our skirmishers, 1st and 6th Infantry up here. We're going to put our cavalry and shock units towards the enemy's right corps. We're going to sweep around in a clockwise motion if you were looking down on the map. Envelop this enemy force, put horse archers and heavy cab behind them. Hammer and anvil combined with a multi-pronged assault. And this battle is going to be over in like 40 seconds. They've got some cavalry wings, but we're just not concerned about that at all. It's amazing to me that this Aserai force attacked. I mean, they were kind of trying to run, of course, but my Sikkim attack dog wife chased them down, right? And once they were caught up, these guys were absolutely fucked. Here they come, right? They're just obediently coming right into our death chamber. It's almost like that guy in No Country for Old Men, where he's like, the guy pulls him over, and he's clearly not a cop, and he's like, "Can I help you, sir?" Yeah, and yes, I'm making fun of Texans. I'll make fun of everybody. I'll make fun of libtards. I'll make fun of East Coasters. I'll make fun of British people. He goes, "Can I help you, sir?" And he's like, "Would you hold still, please, sir?" And he's holding up that little cattle prod air pressurized device. And the guy's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Just hold still while I execute you." And the guy literally just stares at him and stares blindly at it like a fucking total dipshit. The Coen brothers are famous for making fun of stupid people. They always have 2, 3, 4 scenes in their movies that make fun of stupid people, whether it's the guy at the toll booth in the Fargo scene, this clip-on fucking tie that Steve Buscemi rips, but that's just a classic scene, and it basically emulates what the Aserai are doing. "Would you please come into the valley here, sir?" I can't do a Javier Bardem accent, otherwise I would whip it out right now and be like, "Would you come into our kill box here, please, sir, and be quickly executed?" They are completely surrounded now. I'm going to start dragging I have this 3rd Corps. We'll bring them in closer. We'll move Cav, horse archers, and heavy Cav behind them here with Jav Cav. You can see the arrows flying down. It's just 150 arrows pouring in on the enemy. The death spam, even before they get to our kill box, is really bad. And watch this shit. All our guys are throwing javelins downhill. Can you imagine being in that army trying to come uphill into this? I mean, it's absolutely no chance, right? This is as bad as it gets, right? And we'll just kite. They're getting close to some of our units. We'll wait for our cav to get behind the enemy, right? We might as well just execute this completely. This is not perfectionist necessarily, but I'm taking these tactics way beyond where I needed to. I mean, we could have F1 to F3, but we might as well show you guys how I feel you can completely destroy the enemy here. All right, so the cav comes in from behind. The 3rd Corps is told to roll up the enemy's right. The 1st and 6th charge. All the troops roar. They roar with excitement. And you get a death span that looks like that, right? It's just a juicy, big green eggs and ham spam where there's 1 allied death for every 20 enemy forces are sliding downhill, and this battle's over. This guy takes a javelin in the face. You should never be fucking standing there attacking the Jarl insolently like that. You too. He caught one in the groin. Yeah. Again, it's very much like the Javier Bardem scene in No Country for Old Men. If you've never seen that movie, I apologize. The last 3 minutes of commentary right over your head. Please go see that movie. It's one of the classics of all time. People don't like the ending. That's fine. It's a philosophical ending, and I can go into the philosophy of that movie at some point. It is a complicated ending concept. All right, well, what isn't complicated is what we're going to do now, right? We're going to fight for our kingdom's life here. I think I'm going to take a break. I'm actually old. I got to pee. You know, when you drink caffeine, of course, it makes all your bodily functions speed up, including your bladder. So I'm going to have to take a piss here. We'll take a little break. And I think I'll attach one or two more interesting battles from what I would consider this mid-stage campaign in our practice Aserai run. So check this out. I'm on my way to Razih. I wanted to show you fellas this. This is basically why that strategy was so important earlier. Rhagaea of the Southern Empire has declared war on the Aserai. Again, that's because we left those buffer states between us and the Southern Empire, the Western Empire, etc. It's effectively Aserai cities out there and castles that we wanted to leave between us and our enemies, us and the Khazate. That way they would declare war on the Aserai and all of our enemies would be fighting each other. This is a very important concept. Look at this as well. This happened a minute ago. Manchug of the Khazates has declared war on the Aserai. Again, that means the pressure from these kingdoms that would normally be attacking our newly found, newly proclaimed kingdom are now attacking our enemies. Instead of attacking us, we have one enemy, the Aserai, and so we're going to take advantage here and take the siege of Razih. We'll pick up some last-minute troops here. This is not going to be an easy city to take, but look at this. They're now at war with Valandia, the Southern Empire, Khazate, and of course the Betrayers and Slayers, my corny name for this campaign. It just shows I think this hopefully shows you fellas one of the ways that you can create a kingdom without having enormous pressure on you. So now it's on to the siege of Razih. This is actually later voiceover from the actual battle. I did narrate it, but it was sort of a run-of-the-mill difficult siege. I wouldn't have said it was easy by any means, but with our combination of javelins and archers, we pounded a hole on both sides, up the ladder on one side, and then we led the bulk of our forces up the siege tower on the right. And we overwhelmed the enemy pretty well on the right especially. We got troops in the courtyard, we smashed them on the walls, and once we had a good amount of skirmishers and archers on the right side, it was time to push forward. Now, I don't do this very often, this kind of editing and then after narration. It feels really strange to me. I'm essentially, I guess I'm like commenting on the battle afterwards, and it feels kind of foreign. But this is something I may do a little bit more, just because sometimes you guys don't want to watch a 20-minute siege that really is fairly run-of-the-mill. Of course, weekly we are posting epic sieges on the channel, and many of these epic sieges just make some of these sieges from a campaign look like little child's play, right? 500 on 500. Granted, these are fun battles, and there can be a lot of really difficult sword play and stuff like that. But ultimately, these sieges, some of these I may either skip, or I will show you guys sort of bits and pieces and try to narrate afterwards. This is another good example of why you guys should leave feedback. If you'd prefer, I did sort of this summary view on occasional battles where you sort of wanted to know how the battle went, but you didn't want to watch the grueling whole 25-minute siege. This is your chance to provide that feedback, right? Say, I appreciated and enjoyed this faster version of the siege. Throw some music to it and a little afterwards commentary. Or you can say, hey, I actually prefer watching the whole thing. I'm curious how you do it. I like to hear all the F-bombs, the historical anecdotes. This is a perfect portion, a perfect choice A, choice B, or I don't know, choice C, D, E of how you guys want me to narrate this campaign, right? I'm doing this for you fellas. This is more work, but I'm willing to do this occasionally because that's what the fellas may want. All right, so after the successful siege of Razih, we are on our way to becoming a new kingdom. I'm going to wrap this episode up here. I think I may have one more episode. Obviously, I don't want to have 25 episodes of a practice campaign where the campaign itself may only have like 30 or 35 episodes. But we're going to get one more, I think, under our belt here to show some very big battles. Of course, we have to show you how the Aserai are going to react, and it will be violently in this campaign, as well as some other dynamics. Of course, I'm going to skip a large portion of the details and strategy that are a part of a campaign. If you want to learn more about those nuances, you're going to have to show up for the actual campaign, friends. With that said, I'm going to wrap this episode up. Again, I'm going to take about a month break. That said, I have plenty of other videos to intermix on the channel. If there's not a video updated every single day, it'll probably be every other day at least. So I appreciate you fellas. Again, please subscribe if you want to see more. Of course, you want to leave comments if you have any curiosities or you think I'm a stupid asshole that talks too much. I appreciate you fellas. Please hit that like button. I don't ask for much, but that's one thing I love you guys to do. It drives more guys to the channel, further enthusiasts, and then we all benefit. With all that said, friends, I will talk to you guys next time.